In this video, we're going to talk about why your lack of a defined sales process may just be your cybersecurity consulting firm, MSP or MSSP's most expensive mistake in your business today. And the reason for that is when we boil down a missed sales opportunity just to a lead or an MQL or an SQL, we subconsciously do not give that lead the attention and the focus that it deserves. And so think about it like this. If you're a cybersecurity consulting firm and each project lasts for a year or maybe 18 months and you have a retainer, plus maybe your retainer is 5,000, maybe it's 15,000, and maybe you have a startup fee as well. You know, we're talking over the course of that project, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if you're an MSP, perhaps you have a retainer of, let's say $1,500, but your average lifetime tenure is 36 months, maybe 48 months. Again, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so we really need to think about leads in the context of the true value and the true revenue they create for a business. And when we start to do that, we start to understand and think about how important every single lead is and just why a defined, repeatable, and proven sales process is essential and avoids us making some of the most costly mistakes we are making in our businesses today when we don't have a defined sales process. So let's jump into some of the misconceptions which may be holding you back or have held you back to this point in time from actually implementing a defined sales process in your business. So expensive misconception number one. We'll figure out our sales process along the way. There could be more ill-informed thinking in my mind. And look, that's not to, I don't mean that to sound harsh because it is a common belief. And I gotta be honest, in my early stages of my career when I was working on the sales side, I sort of felt like this as well. But the complexity and the magnitude in terms of the difficulty of implementing a defined sales process and solving complex problems only gets more difficult the bigger you get. And you really need to take stock and think about what you want your sales process to look like ideally before you get too big and before the team gets too big. And so it's not something that you figure out along the way. It's something that you stop and you think about. And you think about what are our defined stages? What are the metrics at each of those stages? And what are the KPIs that we're working towards? What do we want to say to each segment at each stage of their buyer's journey? It has to be a deliberate process that you go through to think about how you're going to create the best experience for your prospects with the ultimate goal of increasing conversion along the entirety of that sales funnel. Expensive misconception number two. We only have a small team. A sales process is not needed. As I just alluded to, the complexity of problems only gets bigger the bigger your team get. Now, if you do have a big sales team, it's not too late. Absolutely, you can retroactively implement a sales process, and we do that for our clients, our partners. But if you have a small team, you still need to be thinking in the context of the true lifetime value that each lead means to the business. And when you think about it like this, it doesn't matter if you only have a team of one or if you have 2 salespeople or whatever it may be. Every lead is important. And you're guaranteed to increase conversion rate when you have defined stages, when you know the metrics that you should be shooting for, the KPIs that you should be shooting for at each stage of that sales process, when you innately understand which content is going to move the prospect down the funnel the fastest, the most effectively. And only then, when it's informed by a defined sales process, are you able to increase the conversion consistently along the entirety of your sales funnel, drive more business, drive more revenue. And so it doesn't matter if you only have a small team. It's just as important with a small team as it is with a large team, because the revenue means just as much to you as a small business as it does a large business that may be losing bigger deals. So why your MSP, MSSP, or cybersecurity consulting firm needs a proven sales process. So let's look at some of those reasons. Point number one, reason number one, you are not reliant on hiring super expensive A-grade salespeople. And why is that? Well, because you have a process, you have a system that brings in prospects into your sales funnel, tells you what content you should be sharing with them, tells you how to engage, gives you templates, gives you scripts to talk to on the phone. And so it removes a lot of that variability that a great salesperson can make up for. And so you're able to still drive results consistently with just your average salespeople. But if you do have these all-star salespeople, then obviously the results are only going to be even better. So that's point number one. Point number two, you can forecast with confidence because you have confidence that you'll have predictable sales and revenue. And how do you get that? Because of the assurances and the predictability that a system and a sales process creates for your business. Faster to scale. So it stands to reason if you're able to increase your conversion along the sales cycle, you're able to close more deals in a defined unit of time. Point number three, increases sales and staff retention by as much as 30%. And so when you think about it, it's not a surprise, right? Because if you've got a system that does a lot of the heavy lifting and increases the chances that your sales team are going to have success, they're going to get bonuses, they're going to create revenue for your business, then they're going to be more likely to stay in your business. And this is huge because on average, 50% of salespeople are lost within 12 months. You can improve faster with more accuracy, and you can only do that when you know where the problems are occurring in your sales process. And to do that, you need to know what your KPIs are. You need to have alignment on which metrics you're going to measure your performance. And you're going to know at each stage you're going to have a defined process with multiple different stages, so you know where you're falling short or where you're doing better than the other areas. And this allows you to really dial in on where the issues may occur, or where the problems in the sales process may be. And obviously, with that narrow focus and that very pinpoint targeting in terms of where you need to focus, you're going to be able to improve faster. Faster new hire boarding, which means shorter time to revenue creation and a higher floor for your sales reps. So if there is a process that they know they can just plug into, obviously they're going to get up to speed quicker. They're going to start generating revenue for your business quicker, and they're going to have a higher floor because there's less variability as a result of their skill set, because again, the process is doing the heavy lifting. A shorter sales cycle, which means more revenue per unit of time. Again, related to some of the other points we've talked about, but if you're closing more deals in a defined unit of time, you're making more money in a defined unit of time. Your revenue over each quarter is going to increase. Your revenue over a year is going to amplify and increase even more. Better experience for your prospect. I think this is one that is often not thought about enough, but if you're creating a better experience for your prospects, i.e. you're giving them the content that they need, you're following up the right amount of times, you're talking about the right things on the calls, you're getting them the content, the information that they need, that's a better experience for them, and they're more likely to buy. It's pretty as simple as that. Okay, the last one, or second to last, better lead qualification and higher lifetime value. So a sales process helps you qualify leads because you have parameters. You know what is a qualified lead, you know what an SQL is, you know what an MQL is, and you know what's not the right type of lead to continue moving down the sales funnel. And so when you have better lead qualification, you push better prospects through a better match for your service, and they ultimately will end up staying with you longer. You're gonna have less churn and higher lifetime value as a result. So what are the hallmarks of highly effective sales systems inside of leading MSPs, MSSPs, and cybersecurity consulting firms? So based on who we've worked for, and over the course of my 20-odd years being a marketing and sales professional, these are common characteristics of a highly effective sales process. A defined number of steps. We've talked about that. There does not need to be variability in the number of steps. Typically a 3-part sales process or a 4-part sales process is normal. Alignment on metrics at every stage, and this is across marketing and sales. So there's no room for interpretation, and there's no ambiguity. You know exactly if you're falling short or if you're exceeding performance. Agreed KPIs, similar. If you've got the metrics in place, you need to know what is good, and what is poor, what is substandard, what is really good. And the only way you can do that is with KPIs. The right type of content is used at the right stage of the funnel. So what we'll do with our clients, we'll map the content, we'll produce the content that's missing, and we'll map that to the sales funnel. And it makes it really easy for the reps to know, okay, if the prospect has this problem or they're wondering about this, then this is the content, this is the sales enablement material that we deliver to continue to move them down that sales process. Roles are clear, a clear delineation of roles between sales, SDR, and marketing. This is really, really important because inevitably conflict will arise if there are not clearly defined roles. The entire process is documented. And so having SOPs in place for new hires, for existing staff to refer back to is critically important. It needs to be written down, it needs to be on paper. Based on a proven system in a similar industry or with a similar buying cycle. And that's why working with us is so great, because we have experience working with cybersecurity, MSPs, MSSPs, and we know what is an optimal sales process, and we've seen it work, and we've made it work for our clients. Automation is heavily leveraged. If you're not automating parts of your sales process, you're using far too many human resources, which is increasing your cost of lead, your cost of acquisition, and it's ultimately going to mean that your sales cycle is a lot longer than it needs to be otherwise. Sales and marketing alignment on handoff points and when to adopt lead versus support role. So this again is somewhat similar to delineation of roles, but it's a little bit different in knowing when marketing, what qualification a lead needs to undergo before they hand it off to sales. So that sales is not getting leads too early when they're not qualified, and that's only going to annoy them, and they're not getting leads too late and missing out on sales opportunities, or sales are happening slower than they could have otherwise. Consistently add sales and revenue with only a small margin of error. So that really is a hallmark of a great sales process, right? It's consistent, it gets consistent results. So you know that each quarter, with a high degree of confidence, your sales are going to be within a 10% margin pretty much every single month, and enable C-suite to confidently forecast for the aforementioned reasons. If your cybersecurity consulting firm, your MSSP, or your MSP lacks a proven, repeatable sales process, get one. Now, that may be easier said than done, but we can help you if you want to talk with our team. We partner with businesses to produce a customized sales process based on what works in the industry, what has worked over the course of my 20-year career, and we customize that and we implement it inside your business. So we build custom sales process for cybersecurity firms, MSSPs and MSSPs. We start on a done-for-you model to get everything working, making sure your business is making money, lead to closing, you're getting sales from the sales process. Then what we do, we sort of pivot slowly over to a model where we coach and consult your team until they are fully confident with the new sales process, they've got SOPs, and they're able to propel the growth of your business forward, and we can be hands-off and ultimately leave your business and let you run and grow your business without our input. So we'll add 1 to 2 high-value clients to your business every month, and we also back our service with a 200% ROI guarantee. Typically, these are the core sort of offerings that we implement inside of cybersecurity firms. Lead generation machine that is scalable, that consistently produces leads at a low customer acquisition cost. A proven repeatable sales process. We implement AI and automation into the sales process to improve the consistency of results, but also to increase the efficiency and lower the customer acquisition cost and increase your profit margins. We help you increase your retainers. We do a lot of customer marketing and other things that we can do that help you increase your retainers and keep customers longer tenured clients. And so in the pic there, you'll sort of see the transition. We start with a done-for-you model, as I mentioned, then we transition into coaching and consulting, and then we leave it where it's, you're fully competent, your team is capable, and you're doing it yourself. And that's a really effective model to pass our expertise over to your business and ingrain it into your business, so it's really second nature. So if you want to speak with our team and partner and have us grow your business alongside you, then go to cyberactive.com. You'll find a link to speak with one of our team, our growth partners, or myself, and I hope to see you on the other side. Thanks so much.